What's up, everybody? Big Kev's World, joined by the Prodigal Hill, and we are going to dissect the NFL playoffs. The first round starts this weekend. So, posting your Cowboys, they're facing the 49ers.
Oh, so Dean Kane, we meet again. Yeah, it looks like we're renewing that old rivalry with the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm kind of excited for this game a little bit, it's been a while since we've met the 49ers in the playoffs, so I'm really hoping that this game does well in the ratings because like I said, that rivalry was intense back in the '90s.
Oh, yeah, I remember that rivalry very well. And the one time that they finally beat you guys is when they had Deion Sanders, and then Deion went to you guys.
Yeah, and then we beat them the following year. That was whenever football was really, really fun. That's whenever it really started to take off to another level. You had Brett Favre that was just coming into his own in the league.
Yeah.
Steve Young, Troy Aikman. You still had the older guys like Dan Marino and John Elway. Uh, Warren Moon still was playing. Jim Kelly, and you had players like Jerry Rice, Emmett Smith, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas. You had other guys come in later on like Terrell Davis and Marshall Faulk and stuff like that. But the league was really, really fun back then. And I'm hoping that eventually the NFL will go back to that direction the way it was back in the 90s and then the early 2000s.
I hope so too, and I believe that a lot of this direction is from the fact that they had the NFL commissioner Paul Tagliabue back then instead of having Roger Goodell, which Roger Goodell we all know is a very woken individual.
Yeah, I heard that that the NFL, and I don't know because, like I said, I really don't watch the NFL as much, so I'm not
Right.
that much of a fanatic like I used to be. However, with that being said, I heard that since they've got to get rid of a lot of stuff in the NFL that they do right now. They still have their ridiculous propaganda going on in the NFL. They have their ridiculous storylines, over the top stories for random specific sports journalists to cover. And so I think that going back to a more traditionally rivalry based NFL, where it was the Dallas Cowboys, Emmett Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin take on Ricky Waters, Steve Young, and Jerry Rice, that is a formula for success, and not having Antonio Brown doing freaking jumping jacks, taking off his shirt and running down the field. That's just not anything that I myself would be interested in. But I guess other YouTubers probably like that kind of stuff.
Oh man, we're joined by the A Train. What is up, big man?
Hello.
Now, not only is Poston's Cowboys in the playoffs, but your Bengals going up against the Raiders. How you feel about it?
You know what? Here's the thing, and a lot of people don't understand this, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, you haven't won a playoff game in 31 years." Yes, you're absolutely right. We haven't, but this is a different team. I know I've said that in the past many times, but that was me lying to myself. This team, something about this team is, and I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's the fact it's not Marvin Lewis. It's not a guy who tried to run the asylum and couldn't do it. Coach Zach Taylor has done an amazing job of keeping his guys, not costing us games like Marvin's guys did, like Vontez Burfict and Adam Jones costing us that playoff game. This is just a different team. It's a different type of swagger. The city is different. The buzz is different. Everybody's talking about it. And we're not used to talking about that kind of stuff. We're not used to being like, oh man, this could be it. This could be finally it. And I'm here for it. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't even want to say what's going to happen tomorrow because I really don't know. I don't want to sit there and be that fan and say, oh, we're going to beat them. Because I don't know. We beat them in the regular season. Yeah, we kicked their tails. But the issue is, this is not a regular season game. This is one and done. Win or go home. Teams play differently. No one is having an easy game. I'm telling you right now, everybody in Kansas City keeps talking about how easy it's going to be against the Steelers. It's not going to be easy. Pittsburgh's even playing well right now. It's not going to be easy. No one has an easy game this year. I don't care what anybody says. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
And I'll tell you this much: the Bengals do look good. They have a very good young team. I think a lot of it too is we all know that Joe Burrow is a hell of a lot better quarterback than Andy Dalton.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to say something. I had the Bengals at the beginning of the year as my sleeper team. And one of the reasons is because I wanted Joe Burrows, but Joe Burrows, going into that season, they had him projected as being a third-round pick because, he was playing for LSU, everybody was for Alabama, and nobody knew exactly how good LSU was going to be that year. And whenever he played against Texas, I was like, man, I hope Dallas is considering him in the third round to back up Dak because he reminds me of Troy Aikman. So the Cincinnati Bengals, which, it may not be this year, but the Cincinnati Bengals remind me a lot of the 91 Cowboys when they were building something. I think that they're missing some of that defensive edge. That's the only thing holding them back. I'm a big believer in defense and a running game. But they got Mixon, they got Burrows, they bring it. I thought that they did great in the draft, believe it or not. Everybody was trashing them because they didn't get Penei Sewell.
Well,
but I said that Carmen guy, he was more of a pass blocker. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah.
I know him. I coached against him. He was in high school when I was coaching at Hamilton, and they were our rivals. So I knew him even before he went to Clemson, all that. I knew this kid, and we knew he was going to be something special. We knew then.
I knew that the culture was going to change whenever everybody was saying Sewell, and then they got Chase, and I said, you know what? Whenever they got Carmen in the second round, I said, you know what? These guys, they're on to something. They're not listening to ESPN. They're drafting their guys. And I said, that's how you win.
And here's the thing, man. And it's crazy. And you know what I went through with Andy Dalton because you had him as your backup last year, and he was your starter because Dak got hurt. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys fan base knows what we went through. Dalton had that one good year and he hurt himself. And, that could have been the year, and so could have the year with Carson Palmer. But again, they did not have the style of play that Burrow has. Now, you think of, this wide receiver core he has, Boyd, Higgins, Chase, Tate just got cleared. Tate's back. He's a good number 4. You got Uzama. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. We got 3 running backs. We proved it against Cleveland. Our third string running back could be a first string somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if they went out tomorrow and had 3 running backs in the backfield at one time. That has not been done in a very long time. I can't remember the team that did it last. I mean, was it the Niners? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Didn't they have an offense that had 3 running backs?
The 49ers
in the
had
80s?
3 running backs. Yep.
So I mean, it's not. This team is just, and I know we talk about the defense, but the defense has shown up when it's needed to. I mean, the whole second half, they held Kansas City to 3 points.
Y'all got a steal from Texas.
Huh?
Y'all got that steal that Osai, what I can't pronounce his name. That Osai, that linebacker or that defensive end that you got from Texas.
Yeah.
That was a steal.
Oh yeah. And you know, I'm just excited, man. And the picture from the city tonight, was absolutely gorgeous. My buddy posted it. There was literally a bright orange in the sky above the stadium. I mean, we're so ready as a city. Like, I know I don't live there anymore, but that's where my heart is.
I'm gonna tell you, man. If the Cincinnati Bengals win a Super Bowl here in the near future, that merchandise is going to fly off the shelves. There'll be so many bandwagons just because the uniforms are probably like the nicest uniforms in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, and you know, and a lot of people, man, just are jumping on us now, and like it drives me crazy. Like, if you weren't here during the 90s, if you're over 30 years old and you weren't there in the 90s or late 20s, and you weren't there for Jeff Blake, Keely Smith, Michaels, Kitna, even though Kitna was a turnaround.
How about Kajana Carter and Dan Wilkinson?
Let's not talk about all that. Let's not talk about Jeff Klingler either. That dude's
David Klingler. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, who cares? See, he's so forgotten. I forget his first name. You know, it's just we've been through everything. People talk about how great Marvin was as a coach. Yeah, the regular season, he won a playoff game. 0-7. 0-7.
I had to sit there and laugh. Sorry, I had to sit there and laugh because you sound like my New Orleans Saints friend. He's like, we can win all these games in the regular season, but when we get in the playoffs, that's it.
Well, at least they got a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I have 2 AFC championships. I went against one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game twice and lost both times. Second time, should have won. Second time, you know, he throws in the end zone right to one of our defensive guys. Guy drops it. That would have been the game. It was right before the touchdown. Right before.
So
that would have been it.
So let's start with that game. So at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Raiders and Bengals are on TV tomorrow. We're going to talk about
game
our picks here.
4:15.
4:15. Okay. I was just reading what the
time. It's not your time.
So I honestly think that, I mean, it's cool that the Raiders made it too because of that nostalgia with the Raiders and Bengals, because we all know that both teams are very nostalgic back in the old days. I think the only way for the Raiders to win this game is they got to score, and they got to score early and often. It's the only way the Raiders win this game.
Everyone's talking about us not winning a playoff game. When's the last time the Raiders won a playoff game? 2003?
Yep.
You know, everybody's talking about us, talking about, cell phones weren't invented yet. Text messages weren't invented yet. Yeah,
Yep.
that's great. But let's talk about the other team that hasn't won a playoff game in almost 20 years. Let's talk about, Detroit Lions. They're only a year ahead of us, a year behind us. Let's stop talking about the Bengals not winning the playoff game. Let's talk about the new factory of sadness of Detroit. Let's talk about Las Vegas, Oakland, whatever the hell you want to call them. They haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. But everybody wants to crack on us because that's what they want to do. That's what they think they can do. Like, I've seen it the last 2 weeks. It's been driving me up a damn wall. I posted a video tonight about the game.
Yep.
And, it's been nothing but really positive except for, some stupid, comments, especially by a guy that rates shoes and was in jail for 5 years and got out and then decided to write me on YouTube, talking crap and everything, saying, "Oh, you need to win a playoff game before you die in 5 years." Yeah, well, you said that 5 years ago, and I'm still here, bitch. Sorry.
Yeah, the trolls are really pathetic on YouTube these days. Big Kev can tell you about some of the trolls that try to troll me, but yeah, I don't let them get to me for sure. I mean, yeah, hey, thanks for your feedback, but blow me pretty much is what I tell them.
You've had trolls for how long now?
Shit. Like fucking since I've been on YouTube.
Because you and me have talked before. We've never had bad crosses between us. I mean, there's never been one bad thing between you and me. I mean, we've both been doing this YouTube game for a long time. People think they're, when they write these comments, they're thinking, "Oh, we're getting to them." You're really not. I laugh.
Dude. Sometimes I just troll them. I'll do a video and I'll pull up their comment, give them a little bit of clout because that's what they're looking for, and then I'll just make fun of them and stuff. And then they're like, "Oh, you're no, I'm bored. I'm bored." That's exactly why I respond to your comment.
Like what I do is I laugh, I remove it, I block you. Because especially when it's not even a hate video, it's talking about the game. Like, I don't do TTC shit anymore. Like, this is about the game solely. Like, I'm talking about what this means to the city. I mean, because there's a buzz. I don't care what anybody says. There's a buzz in Cincinnati right now. And, we were talking about it at work today. Like, it just feels different.
And I'll tell you one thing, man, because what you're talking about here is kind of what's wrong with sports today, especially even on YouTube right now, is that it's all about drama. You know what I'm saying? Everything's about drama. And, They would much rather hear about Aaron Rodgers. He didn't get the VA XX. Oh, my God. Rona. Or Antonio Brown doing jumping jacks. They want to talk about Henry Ruggs driving a car with DUI. They want to talk about Deshaun Watson and his sexual assault charges or any other of the
John Gruden's racial comment.
Yeah, or freaking Urban Meyer's getting, having a girl twerk on him. That's what they want to talk about, and that's not what I'm interested in. I don't even really watch a lot of. I need to sub to A-Train again. I don't know. I mean, I may be sub to you, but the way YouTube unsubs people now, it's hard to know.
I had over 400 subscribers, 500 maybe. And I know that's not big, but my old channel from like 10 years ago had a little over 1,000. Back when TTC was red hot back 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. But, I had over 400, maybe almost 5. And now I'm down to 376. And I'm just sitting there like, I know I've been gone a while, but where the fuck is everybody?
Yeah, it's because YouTube unsubs people. They've unsubbed me from Hard Bastard how many times? I had to resub to Steven Crowder. Like various YouTubers and stuff like that, especially like, people that are a little bit edgy. I know that YouTube, like if you're not making videos, then people are not, continuously, they'll unsub you.
Yeah.
They will.
And here's the thing. By the way, I gotta get this off my chest. Stephen Rose's tournament challenge. Gabriel Pats fan. Let me tell you something, brother. Okay? You picked the Bengals, so I have the frickin' Raiders. Let me tell you what you did. And I hope you hear this, and I hope you see this, Gabriel, because me and you used to be cool, man. We ain't cool no more. You're making me go against my team. I hope the Buffalo Bills destroy the Patriots. I hope you lose by 50.
Well, I'll have to say this right here because it sounds like you you have the opposite of the opposite of me, because I actually think, and like I said, and this is one of the reasons, is because I see the Cincinnati Bengals as the 91 Cowboys. And I know that what Big Kev says is that they need to score fast and often. And I think that that's absolutely the opposite, because whenever I look at this team, they got Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is, turning into an elite running back.
I was saying that the Raiders need to score often.
Yeah, that's what I know. And Josh Jacobs, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders at this point in time, they may need to score early, but I don't think that if they can use Josh Jacobs and they can use him right, game control, kind of like what the Tennessee Titans do.
Yeah.
Use that running game. I know that their defense is pretty good. And, I think that the Cincinnati Bengals have the potential, especially next year with next year's defensive draft class coming out, that they can definitely restock. But I think that they're just a little bit away. You've got a young, good quarterback. You got a young, good running back. But this feels like the 91 Cowboys when we lost to the Detroit Lions in that running game. And that's what I see being the biggest factor in this game, is that running game for LA. And I know that Cincinnati has a running game too, but I think that if you're looking at time of possession and being able to manage the clock, I think that the Raiders are better set up to do that than the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Joe Burrows can throw all over the place, but I actually picked the Raiders over the Bengals myself.
Well, you can jump a kite, but, and I mean that with all the world. But here's the thing, this is a Raiders team that only scored 13 points on us. And I know it's different now, and I get that. But we also got to take that into consideration. You got to look at this offense who has averaged over 28 points a game. More than what has ever been given. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. I just saw the screen.
It's the Great Duke Bothers.
The Great Duke Bothers.
Oh, God.
Well, let me tell you something, Big Kev.
Oh, Lord.
Those San Francisco 49ers, they're going to come down to Arlington, Texas on Sunday, brother. And what's going to happen is this. They're going to walk in to the Superdome, brother, and they're going to see that Dallas Cowboys star, and they're going to see Jerry Jones, and they're going to see blue, and they're going to see silver, dude. And I just got one question for you, Big
This
Cat.
isn't WrestleMania 30. It's not the Superdome.
It's the Silverdome. Sorry, brother. That's what I meant to say.
It's not the Silverdome either.
I got one question for you, Big Kev. And I got one question for you, Jimmy Garoppolo. That is him, right? What you gonna do when Micah Parsons, the defensive rookie of the year, runs wild on you? What you gonna do?
Another 50 burger coming. Another 50 burger.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it's gonna be a 50 burger.
Oh,
Now, I hope for God that we throw the ball actually effectively for once. That'd be really nice.
Well, let me tell you something there, Duke. I think that you guys are going to do that new re-rival with you and the 49ers. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Duke Bobbers can't do Hogan, and you can't do Macho. That's enough.
We'll beat the 49ers by a 50 burger. That way we can get revenge for that Super Bowl loss that you had to endure there.
I don't see San Francisco.
Oh, gosh.
I really don't see San Francisco beating Dallas. I really don't. I mean, it's Jimmy Garoppolo is not a star. He's not that big quarterback that everybody thought he was going to be, or Belichick thought he was going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas beats them by 20 or 30.
I just want him to establish the run game, set the run game up, and then use the pass, because the running game will effectively carry us.
Your running back takes his nose ring out and his belly button ring out first.
That'll be. I don't care what he wears. He can wear a fucking tutu as long as he gets me a win over fucking San Francisco.
Now you better not wear that, because then all those Niner fans will be jumping out of the stands trying to get his phone number.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? T-Spence be first in line.
So let me ask you something, Duke. What do you think about the Raiders-Bengals game? Who do you got?
Man, I've been tossing that one around for a minute. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be close, man. To keep my answer short, I just think the Bengals are a better team. I really do. Dude, they've got that connection now with the LSU brethren that's really working, and it's scary to think that kid is a rookie receiver. Like, they're going to have a lightning punch right there for a long time. And it's going to be close, I think. But man, I got the Bengals winning
Rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year.
Does Joe Burrows not remind you of Troy Aikman?
I mean, I can see it.
Do you realize? I was telling a Titan buddy of mine the other day. I said, if there's one team in the AFC that scares me of facing, and that's the Bengals. I said,
you don't want us to come to Nashville, buddy. If we win tomorrow, you better hope at 6:30 that Buffalo just tanks. Because if not, we're coming to Nashville.
I don't know. Does the Bengals got a good run defense? Because that's going to be.
I mean, he's got to get past Sam Hubbard.
And that kid that they got from Texas is no joke.
That is true. I like that kid from Texas. I really do. And I think that's going to be.
And here's the thing. Everyone is cleared. We've had some injuries on defensive line. They're all back. Tate's back as our fourth receiver. People just don't get it. And it's, like a certain Dallas fan who I'll not name. T-Spence. Oh, gosh. Oh, dang, COVID. Okay. Picking the Raiders. People just don't understand. People think it's the same Bengals team from years past. But here's the thing. It's a different coach. It's a different narrative. I was very against Cindy Blackburn getting the team after her dad passes away. But from what I've seen these last 2 years from her and her husband, I'm actually more comfortable with them running this team. Because if Mike Brown was still ahead of the day-to-day stuff right now of everything, we would not have a Ring of Honor going on right now. We would not have a fan interaction type atmosphere. at Cincinnati like we do now. It's the narrative it's different. It's a new vibe, and I love it. And I'm hoping that we can keep this up because I am so excited for this. And I haven't been excited about this team for a very long time.
I'm just more of a ground and pound guy. I believe, and this is something that Duke will sit there and affirm about me, because I'm always like, run the ball first, set the run game up, control the clock, defense. Because a buddy of mine was a New Orleans fan, and he goes, every time Drew Brees has passed for 5,000 yards, we don't do anything. We'd be lucky to even make the playoffs. But you've got to have that running game. That running game carries a team deep. That's one thing that scares me about Dallas right now, is that, they kind of want to shy away from the run. And, I like Dak. Dak's my quarterback. I'm going to back Dak. But, you look at last year, right? This year we come out, we run the ball a little bit more effectively. We have Pollard. We have Zeke. And then what was that kid's name, that third string? He did pretty good too. And it's the same thing with you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the Bengals whenever you were talking about how y'all got 3 running backs. And that's what I like. If you can run the ball and your defense is good, that's going to carry you in the playoffs. That's why Big Kev's team is like one of the hardest opponents in the playoffs, is because they can run that ball. Where Big Kev's team comes up is a little short, is also on defense. But I grew up in the 90s with the Cowboys, running it with Emmett. And then, like I said, Troy Aikman's statistics are comparable to Jay Cutler's, but that running game was just so lethal that it would just carry you in the playoffs. And like I said, the Cowboys, I got the Cowboys. Don't get me wrong. I'm going for the Cowboys. If I would have had to pick in Steven Rose's tournament, I would have picked Cowboys. But, it kind of scares me a little whenever they're like, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and pass for, it made me feel a little bit better that the running game was a little bit more effective this last game, but that's what we need to do. We need to run the ball, set the tone, control the clock, put up the point, and then get out with the win.
Well, here's something too. I'm also going for the Bengals. I think that they have a way better team than the Raiders. And with the Titans, you were mentioning about them having the running game. Without Derrick Henry, Foreman, who's come out of nowhere, has done a really good job running the ball. Now we'll have Foreman and Henry both. The one thing that worries me about that Titan defense is their secondary. Besides their 2 safeties, their secondaries can get picked apart. If you got a guy like Joe Burrow facing the Titans, he would pick them apart all day long. So you have to think about that. The only way the Titans would have to win a game is they would have to control the clock, run the ball, and basically run it down their throats. That's all the Titans would have to do.
Here's one thing we discussed since I've been on here anyways. How Kansas City thinks it's going to have an easy game Sunday. I mean, I don't think it's going to be easy.
No, absolutely
Here's the thing. This is Big Ben's farewell. If you don't think the refs are going to have a hand in that game, there's something wrong with you.
I would be honest, dream come true would be to play the Bengals in the Super Bowl and beat them again, because I think they owe us a Super Bowl.
We need a Super Bowl. And here's the thing. I see Pittsburgh beating Kansas City in Kansas City. I don't think they're going to have Big Ben just go out in the wild card. That ain't going to happen. It's going to be like with Ray Lewis's final year. Calls were going the Ravens' way. Like in New England. New England should have crushed them. But it was the other way around. In the Super Bowl, it should have been the Niners, but they were getting destroyed till the lights went out. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it now. Pittsburgh's going to beat Kansas City. Especially with the Kansas City team I saw last week against Denver Broncos. Mahomes looked awful. That defense needed to help him. And the defense scored at the right time. That's just truth.
I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, I have actually picked Pittsburgh as well, and the reason why I picked Pittsburgh is the same reason why you were thinking. I had that same mentality. I'm like, this is Big Ben's last year. They're not going to let him go out in the first round. I just don't see it.
I had to stick with Kansas City, because every time this past few years they've looked pretty disappointing in the playoffs, and they have a running game right now, but Najee Harris is a rookie. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see Kansas City being put out by Pittsburgh, but I'm not sure if I'm on board with that. I know that Duke is going to hate me for this one, so I know Duke wants to get to this one, but I don't know, because it seems like every time I think Pittsburgh is going to do something in the playoffs and maybe make the Super Bowl, they usually end up disappointing me. So,
well, here's the thing too. We were talking about Steven Rose's tournament. I got to call him out on something. Why in the hell is he bringing back those damn NBA picks again? And I've tried telling him, you shouldn't let everybody in the playoffs. You should only have 16 guys, and that's it. Pretty
well,
simple.
I guess I'm in the playoffs, but I was like, oh, okay, well, everybody's in the playoffs. I better make my picks. I didn't know how it went, so I just picked everybody. And he's like, oh, okay. And but I have the Patriots and the Raiders. That's the teams that I got.
Ew.
I know that he's screwed some people over here the last couple of years. I remember Matt Ogden won twice, and he only gave Matt Ogden $50. And he's telling somebody, "Hey, I'm going to give everybody $200 this time." I'm like, "Hey, Steven, I'm going to let you know something. If you're going to give somebody a prize, you need to give it to them right then."
Yeah, especially when you promise somebody a belt there, Steven, and then you never send it, you jerk off.
Did he promise you a belt, A-Trade?
Yes.
Oh, that motherfucker.
5 years ago. Never sent it.
Since I don't watch football enough to, make my picks like I used to, now if this would have been me about, 10, 15 years ago, yeah, I'd be on it. But no, I know that I'm usually the last one out anyways. I'm right down at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm more bet at the college.
Well, ever since the Denver Bronco game, I've always picked against the Cowboys. Ever since. Because of my ref ball. And I said, ever since ref ball, screw it, I'm picking against the Cowboys. So it's probably better if I pick against the Bengals.
It looks like Nick Fargo will be coming in here in a few.
Oh, Lord.
He's going to be talking about that Green Bay Packer team. Let's talk about the Packers
not
here.
Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the Packers.
I want to tell you something about Green Bay. I know that their coach is probably coach of the year, but I can honestly tell you with the Titans having 95 people on their roster this year off and on and having to play 10 weeks without Derrick Henry, if Mike Vrabel is not in that conversation, something is wrong. If the Bengals,
I'm sorry, Zach Taylor is going to be coach of the year.
Yeah, Zach Taylor is a really good coach, and I know the Packers are probably going to have coach of the year, and I know that they're probably going to. They're all on that train right now, like, oh, look at us, look at us, look at us. But look, Green Bay's always been good in the regular season, but when you guys get to the NFC Championship, you choke.
I think it may be for the NFC Championship this year. And the reason why is the same. They run into the same issues that the New Orleans Saints do. And like I said, you could even talk to a New Orleans Saints fan, and they'll tell you about this. But Green Bay is a one-dimensional team. It all runs through Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of the same formula that they used with Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Every team that runs just solely through the passing game doesn't have any longevity in the playoffs. And this is why Green Bay, you get a team that can run the ball, that has a good defense. The 49ers, a team like that, that's kind of like that, mid-card, mid-level team in the NFL can beat you if they see you in the NFC Championship game. Because all they have to do, they know that all they have to game plan for is Aaron Rodgers. Their running game is kind of pedestrian. It's not horrible, but it's not great. And their defense is very has been for years. I think that they've upgraded their defense a little bit in the draft this year, but I don't think nearly enough to get them to to where it's like, oh, okay, well, they're the number one seed in the NFL, but they're probably the one that needs the number one seed in the NFL.
Another thing with the Packers, too, is that they never, ever, ever get any offensive help for Aaron Rodgers in the draft. Like, there's never any help for him. And I honestly think that I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last year either.
And we should have beat him. Just saying. One of the craziest games of the year.
That was a crazy game.
Me and Fargo were talking that whole game, back and forth.
And I think I picked the Bengals to beat them too.
Oh Lord, that game.
You know what's going to be a hard game to pick this weekend is they're going to have the Cardinals versus the Rams in the first round.
I'm sorry, but can I be honest? The NFC is weak. I'm sorry, but it's weak. The freaking Eagles are in. The Eagles. You can't get weaker than that.
Well, see, here's the deal. Because I think that out of the Rams and the Cardinals, right, whoever goes on to play Green Bay, will go on to play Green Bay. I think they may play. Yeah, I think if it's the Rams, they'll play Tampa Bay. But if it's the Arizona Cardinals, they'll play Green Bay, and then Dallas would play Tampa Bay, depending on how the seeding goes. And I think any one of those teams could actually beat Green Bay. I think the Cardinals could beat Green Bay, and I think that the Rams can beat Green Bay.
If somehow, I'm looking at the schedule, if the Eagles win against Tampa, which I don't expect them to beat Brady, but if they do, they'll be the ones to go and face Green Bay.
Oh Lord, that would kind of suck.
Yeah, that'd be a 7 against a 1, and then that would leave us, regardless of who wins our game, we would play the winner of the Rams and the Cardinals.
I gotta ask you here, Duke, because I was waiting for you on this. Pittsburgh and Kansas City. This is Big Ben's last year, and I don't think he's gonna go. We were picking Pittsburgh except for Polston. He picked the Prodigal Hill picked Kansas City. So, what do you think about that game?
Little bitty, sweet and pretty, big old titties. It don't matter. I got Pittsburgh by 20.
Damn.
25. Sorry, forgot about. Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh 23, Kansas City -2. Pittsburgh wins by 25.
Pittsburgh infinity, Kansas City nothing, right?
A negative infinity.
Well, you know what's interesting. I don't know if you noticed this, Duke, but has anyone ever noticed the way that Patrick Mahomes walks? It looks like he's got like raped in prison. I don't know. It's just how he walks.
Well, his fiance wears the pants in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, after the Bengals game, my boyfriend got screwed. They cheated.
I seen an article. It was one of these random, whenever you're getting on Google, they show these little articles and stuff like that. And the lead story was somebody called Patrick Mahomes' brother a homosexual slur. And I was like, I wonder if they were talking about Patrick Mahomes. And he just,
How does that make the news? That happens on a daily basis. Like that's not newsworthy.
No.
This is ESPN.
I mean, heck, I do it twice a day. In fact, it's 9:15 now, so I may as well get it over with.
Something tells me when Duke plays a football game, he puts Patrick Mahomes like on the worst team possible.
Oh, he already is on the worst team possible. All I do is I take their stats and adjust them all to the lowest possible rating, and then I rename them to whatever I like. Like Patrick Mahomes, obviously he's Patrick Mahomo. And like Dexter McCluster used to be Dexter McDickbucker, and I would just rename all of them and then beat the hell out of them with everybody. And I'd also make them all really short and really fat and really slow.
What's wrong with fat people?
Nothing except, when you're like 3 foot tall and you weigh 400 pounds because you have a glandular problem, and then you run a 10.8 40-yard dash. It's not really. That's not a good athlete. That's not a good football player. Like if it's pure muscle, that's one thing. But if it's you're just chunky.
Hey, I was a pretty good football player. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're pure muscle too. Look at you. You're going back into the ring. Damn.
What's interesting too is Andy Reid looks like he's lost some weight.
Well, I would too if I was getting butt fucked by the ownership of Kansas City.
Well, somebody has to take that bullet for the rest of us, I guess.
So let me ask you guys: do anybody got the Eagles against the Bucks or no?
Hell no.
Crickets.
Negahachi bet, man.
Jalen Hurts is going to be living by his last name.
Sorry,
Hurts.
I want to see what the line is, though, because if it's ridiculous, if they favor Tampa by 50, I might put a couple dollars down on Philadelphia just to get a return out of it, because Tampa is going to be favored by a lot. I'm sure the line's already out. I just don't know what it is.
But I'll be the first one to apologize to Kev's wife. I'm sorry, but it ain't going to happen.
Well, she's got two teams. One of her dad's from Wisconsin, so she's got the Packers, and then she's got the Eagles.
Well, yeah, every Eagles fan's a two-teamer. You got to have your regular season team, and you got to have your playoff team.
Well, the one thing I would say here too is we got another game to think about here. We got the Patriots and the Bills. Who do you guys have for this one?
Bills by 50 because of Gabriel the Pats fan that jerk off.
I'll go Patriots by 50 because I got them.
Oh, that makes me the tiebreaker. Well, gentlemen, I'm telling you what, the Patriots, Mac Jones is looking pretty good. I mean, they only lost, I think, one game since they played us, which that was a really close game. They probably should have won. So, I mean, based off of that, who am I kidding? The Bills are going to win by 10. Go Bills.
Bills. So, what about the Cardinals and the Rams? Who you guys have on that one?
That's going to be close. That's going to be closer than anyone thinks. I think it's going to be the Rams pulling it out. Matthew Stafford finally gets his moment in the sun. That dude's been through a lot.
He has.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't see them going far, but I'm rooting for him because he's been through a lot. All those years at Detroit getting his freaking ass beat on a daily basis. I mean, the guy deserves it. It's just the truth.
The only reason why I'm going for the Rams is because the Cardinals have former Texan players and I hate them. So there you go. That's my.
I got to go with the Rams on this one too as well. Of course, I had the Rams at the beginning of the year as my Super Bowl representative for the NFC. I actually had them playing the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. So, since I have no real dog in the fight through the Stephen Rose thing, I got to go for the Rams here.
I like that. I like that pick, preseason pick. That's really good. I'm with you on Stafford, man. Stafford's been through it. I am definitely more of a Stafford fan now than I was at this time last year. But, I mean, there are times, man, he's like a Jekyll and Hyde quarterback, man. There are times where he just does not look like he's got it at all. I don't know exactly what the deal is. They went out, they got stacked, they got some more players, they look really good. But, I mean, I've got to go with my man Kyler Murray. Boomer Sooner. Love me some Kyler. Arizona's going to pull it out. I'm going to take Arizona in a close one by 3.
I'm also happy for Odell Beckham because he finally got out of Cleveland. You know,
That dude's a freaking nutcase.
he is a nutcase. And Antonio Brown, like, who knows? You know, maybe he might play. Maybe he might go play.
Oh,
for
he'll
the
never play in the NFL again.
Okay, he'll probably go play for the Canadian Football League or the.
We'll pick him in Dallas right before to go ahead and take up Gallup's spot. It's got Jerry written all over it.
I mean, that's the same thing that happened with T.O. I could see it. I don't think he's going to really do it, but you're right, man. If anybody do it, it'd be Jerry.
No, Jerry. Lord of mercy.
So, who do you guys think will meet the Packers in the first round and in the second round? Who do you think in the NFC is going to be facing the Packers?
Here's the thing. For some reason, Philadelphia's sticking on mine, even though I think they're going to get whooped by Tampa Bay. Because they're playing Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay is a 2 seed.
Yep.
I'm correct, right? Okay. I don't really pay much attention to the NFC. But man, for some reason, they keep sticking out in my head, even though I know they're going to get stomped. But if they end up somehow beating Tom Brady, they'll be playing Green Bay, and Green Bay will probably put 60 on them. They'll make them look like the Jaguars made Miami look at 98 in Dan Marino's final game to being like 67-7, if anyone remembers that.
I'll be honest with you. I think that I have Tampa Bay and I have the Rams. So it would be Tampa Bay and the Rams. It looks like Dallas would go to Green Bay, and I hope we put an ass whooping on them. I meant, if there's a team outside, not in the NFC East, named the Giants that I hate, it's the Packers. I can't.
He's the ball, man. Let it go.
No, it's not. See, yeah, it wasn't a drop. That was a catch. But I meant, it's the poster boy. It's Aaron Rodgers. We want the NFL to go through here. Now it's like we all hate Aaron Rodgers. But, yeah, at this point in time, I'm kind of just numb to it by now. But I still wanted a Green Bay ass whooping.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The way that I understand the seeding, it would be Green Bay would have to play, in my prediction of the Cardinals earlier, it would be Green Bay versus Arizona. That would give us a rematch with Tampa that I want, and I know the Cowboys locker room wants. I think Cowboys fans want us to play Tampa Bay in the second round if we can make it that far, which I think we do. And honestly, man, we played them at Tampa week 1. It'll be at Tampa again if that does happen. It's anybody's ballgame, dude. I mean, I think we could beat them too. I think they could massacre us. I mean, that's the beauty about these playoffs this year is that I don't really see. I know Green Bay is the 1 seed. I don't really see one team that I can say, look, they're the dogs in the NFC. I mean, this really is an open competition this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But, yeah, to answer the question, I think Green Bay is going to play Arizona, and they're probably going to beat them.
Honestly, do you guys think if Brady gets put out in the playoffs, like say, for example, in the second round, they face the Cowboys. The Cowboys end up beating Tom Brady. Do you think Brady plays another year, or do you think this is his last?
Absolutely plays another year.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will.
I mean, statistically, he's done better this year than last year.
I think he'll play a year too. If he doesn't make it to the Super Bowl this year, he's going to play until he gets his 8th Super Bowl, I think.
Well, I mean, he signed, a 2-year extension after last year, right?
Yeah.
After the Super Bowl, he signed a 2-year extension, right?
Right.
So he's good for another 2 years. So that may be it. He may play 2 more years after this one to be done. I mean, that guy is probably he'll probably be 60 and still be playing football. Let's just be honest.
So who do you think in the second round will face the Titans next week?
The Bengals. That's me being a homer. And I plan on making the trip because that's just 3 hours from me.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, then I guess I would have the Patriots.
Well,
Yeah, I guess I'd have the Bengals too, I guess.
if the Patriots come here, I know they beat the Titans there, but this is the one thing that scares me about Tennessee. I know some fans around here are walking around with their head up in the air, but I keep reminding them that every time Titans have had the first seed, they've been put out in the second round. So,
well, and also, let's be honest here, Kev. Your all schedule was not the toughest. I mean, let's look at your division. I mean, you had 2 teams that won under 5 games. The other team choked a playoff bid 2 weeks in a row. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, you really didn't have a tough schedule this year.
I'll say
So
this year, I thought the Cowboys fans were going to hang me from the rafters because I said running game and defense is what we needed. And whenever I looked at the Tennessee Titans, they had the run game down. I think that the only thing about the Titans that kind of frightens me a little bit is the defensive aspect. But the running game is there, and, you know, even if with Tannehill or whoever they got, they can control the clock.
the Titans do have their pass rush a little better this year than it was last year. The only thing that works this time around is this time the Titans have everybody healthy for the first time this season. AJ's healthy, Julio's healthy, and Derrick Henry will be playing next weekend. So,
well, but here's the thing, though. If we beat Las Vegas tomorrow and we go into Tennessee, you're going to have to try to stop our pass defense, our passing. And it's going to be tough because you may double Jamar Chase. That's fine, but you leave open either Boyd, Higgins, or a tight end, or Tate, or Mixon coming out of the backfield with a screen pass. We have so many weapons. I don't really think anybody wants to play us. That's just the truth.
you know, the one thing I like about one thing I always laugh about these little NFL experts on ESPN and Fox and all that.
Oh, Lord.
They're over there like they were over there counting. They were counting the Titans out when Henry got hurt. They're like, their season's over. Their season's over. And then now that he's coming back, they're like, this is their road to the Super Bowl. I'm sitting there thinking, whoa, hold up. You know, let's take this back a little bit. Like, I've seen some other Titan fans on here just talking about this is gonna be our year, and I'm like, whoa, calm down, guys.
Can you imagine Ryan Tannehill in the fucking Super Bowl? Oh, God.
I mean, you know, ESPN, though. It's ESPN, and this is one of the reasons why I don't watch that garbage anymore. But I mean, you know, these are the same people that was like, nobody picking Justin Fields. I want them to pick Justin Fields. And they had a mental breakdown that Justin Fields slid down to, oh, poor baby, all the way down to the 10th pick. Oh, but they were really crying about that, man.
Oh, here comes Fargo.
What's up?
Oh, good Lord.
So let me ask you something, Nick. Who do you think is going to be facing Green Bay in the second round?
I'm not sure. I know it's 3/4 of a chance it's going to be an NFC West opponent, a division that we swept this year. It's either going to be the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Niners, all of which we've beaten.
Well, I'll ask you for your picks. Who do
Listen,
you think?
listen to him. Listen to him. So cocky. Just
Or delusional, as I'd like to call it, for the Green Bay Packers side.
oh Lord.
I think
No. I'm just stating a fact that like we've beaten this team, and I'm just like, but I'm gonna choose these matchups. I think Tampa Bay is gonna beat Philadelphia. I mean, Philly gave it a good run, and their run offense was pretty good later in the year. But I mean, it's Tom Brady. You can't really like bet against him a lot of the time. So I'm gonna go with Tampa there.
Okay.
San Francisco and Dallas is gonna be a good one though. We're gonna get a lot of energy from those '90s matchups, I feel. And you know what? The Niners are such a totally different team than what they started out as. And Dallas's offense, no offense to two of the guys in here, but like to me, like it seemed like Dak was sort of tampering off a little bit. Not saying he's trash or anything like that, but like I don't know. I just feel like the Niners are getting hot at the right time, but also this is a tough one. San Francisco's got so many playmakers like Kittle and Debo, but also Jimmy G at quarterback, and can you really trust him? Or are they going to do what they did to us 2 years ago and just have him throw it only 8 times in the game?
Tavon Diggs can trust him to throw an interception.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm going to take the safe bet and go Dallas since they're at home.
Right.
But like I'm taking it to be a really good game though. And last but not least, in the NFC wild card, we got the Rams and the Cardinals for the kind of rubber match, if you think about it, because they split this year on the season. And Stafford, I don't know what's been up with him like later in the year, but he's been kind of shaky. Not gonna lie. Starting to show shades of his Detroit days. But also the Cardinals, in Cliff Kingsbury fashion, have just fallen off a cliff, it seems. Get it? Cliff Kingsbury. So they're both kind of stumbling, I feel. But I'm going to go with the division winner and go with the Rams. As for the AFC, shout out to Cavs Titans for making the bye week.
Thank you.
Okay. Kansas City and who are they facing again?
Steelers. They're facing Ben Roethlisberger. This is his last,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Chiefs fans were calling it his retirement party. Yeah, I feel like Kansas City's a safe bet there. And yes, A-Train, I am picking the Bengals over the Raiders.
It's about time.
What do you mean it's about time? I don't hate the Bengals.
Yeah, well, we should have beat you this year, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to talk about the Facebook conversation we had for 3 hours over 6 missed field goals in a row.
Oh my God, my blood pressure, man. Like, I had that under control now. But I am picking the Bengals. Bills and Patriots, that's going to be interesting. I feel like Mac Jones has come down to earth a little bit. And I feel like the Bills, especially later in the year, their defense has just been hot. I'm going to go with Buffalo there. And am I missing a game?
No, that's. Let me see. I'm gonna look in the schedule here.
No, I think
No,
I got all six.
you're good. No, you're good. No, you got them.
Cool. Yep. So if what I predict to come to fruition is the case, then the Packers will be playing the Rams most likely.
It would be the Cowboys. You'd be playing us.
Would I?
Yep, because Tampa Bay would be playing them.
Seed?
Yeah, we're the 4 seed.
But I picked the Rams, and we play the lowest seed into the divisional.
We're 3, so yeah, you'd play them. You play the Rams.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, we would play the Rams. And then you guys will play the Bucks.
You know what's interesting, A-Train, is Dashy was getting on. He got on to me the other day. I gotta say this, because he basically was like, your Titans stepped on the Ravens logo like last year. I'm like,
oh my God, Dashy's voice there.
and I was like, you hate the Steelers and the Ravens. Why do you care?
Oh boy. No comment on that.
Isn't he also a Bulls fan like you, A-Train?
We're the playoffs out.
But I've been a Bulls fan forever. I was a Bulls fan during the hard time, like Hawkins and all that shit, all that BS.
Hey, Bulls are hot this year.
Yes, and the bad thing is I don't have cable, so I literally have to watch clips on Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't watch most Pacers games this year. It's bad.
Why?
Pacers are terrible this year.
Oh, they're hot garbage.
Yeah.
They're hot garbage, and I love it.
I bet you do.
So we're gonna gamble here. We're gonna be like the little Las Vegas picks here. Like I'm gonna start with the Prodigal Hill. Who do you have in the Super Bowl? If you pick right now, who do you got?
Whew, man, this is a good question because at the beginning of the year, I had the Rams and the Browns. But it seems like right now, A-Train's team took the Browns spot. So since I can't really say it's going to be the Browns and the Rams anymore, go and give me the Rams and the Raiders because I have to go for the Raiders.
I'm going to hit you with the chair.
You could blame Stephen Rose on that one. Whoever took the Bengals left me with, or no, wait a minute. Yeah, I picked the Raiders. I think I picked the Raiders.
Yeah, you're going to steal chair the head.
So who do you got, A-Train, in the Super Bowl in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm gonna go with my fandom. I mean, I know we're not ready for it yet, but I don't know. Well, on the NFC side, I think Green Bay gets the monkey off their back and finally gets out of the NFC Championship game for the first time in 10 years. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
I mean, I can't blame you.
You know, for the AFC, I want to say my team, but I know we're not ready yet. So making the educated choice because I feel like the refs are not going to let him lose. I have to go with Pittsburgh.
What?
I gotta go with Pittsburgh.
That would be insane if they made the Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger's like noodle arm.
But here's the thing, though. It's his final year. They're not going to have him lose.
I
Oh, kind of cutting out a little bit. It'd be a rematch, though.
Yeah,
it'd be a
it would.
rematch of Super Bowl 45. But I don't know. Like, the Steelers' offensive line has been hot garbage this year. A lot of
I think you keep. I think
Thank
you keep
you,
cutting.
Mister. Oh, sorry.
Fargo, we're having
Skip me until
problems.
I get a better signal.
Okay.
Skip a better signal.
All right. Kev, go ahead and mute him until he gets better signal. If you can hear me, Fargo, message Kev when you have better signal.
So I guess it'd be Duke.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So we're doing both teams, AFC and NFC?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's one team in the AFC that is doing something right now that they have not done since the early 90s. A team that dominated that conference from 1990 to 1994. You may remember the likes of Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. Well, I introduce you now to a new team, a new Buffalo Bills squad that is going to win the AFC and finally sniff the promised land once again. And
Am I
as
good?
history, yeah, you're good now.
Cool.
As
Keep going.
history swings around and repeats itself, there to meet them in this Super Bowl exchange is their daddy from Big D, your Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champions. You heard it here first.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so I'm going to go with a matchup that we should have had twice already in the regular season. And everyone was like, oh, we'll never get this. Well, prepare for this. I got the Packers and the Chiefs for a Super Bowl I rematch. Rodgers, Mahomes, let's go.
And Duke Bothers just shot himself.
We're taking a hold of State Farm in this one right here. The State Farm people.
Invest in State Farm.
So we changed my name to Dead Bother.
I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you this. I think I'm going to go like what A-Train did. I'm going to go with my home team in the AFC. And the NFC, I think it's either going to be the Packers or the Cowboys.
That's a cop-out. You got to choose one.
I actually think it's going to be the Titans and the Packers.
Ooh. That'd be interesting. We got like, I'm not saying he is Derrick Henry, but his play style is like Derrick Henry. The way he plays is like him. A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh, man. That'd be fun to watch.
So now, who's got the first pick in the draft this coming draft?
Jacksonville.
Okay.
Again.
The Jacksonville Jackoffs.
We all know that Trevor Lawrence was very overrated. I knew he was going to be an overrated.
Yeah, but Urban Meyer had a lot to do with that. Let's be real.
Whenever you're throwing to wide receivers that are open by a country mile in college, then yeah, you probably, that's probably not the first quarterback you should look at. But I mean, you look at all of them. You look at Zach Wilson, and you look at Justin Fields, and none of them really set the world on fire. The one that's had the most success is Davis Mills in Houston and Mac Jones in New England. So,
and then Houston, for some reason, fired David Culley after 1 year. They expected him to make chicken salad out of chicken shit with that roster.
Yeah.
It was all because of Stephen Rose's video about it.
Listen to Stephen Rose.
Hire Stephen Rose as your coach, and I guarantee you go 0-17.
Oh, Lord.
You wouldn't even be able to spell anything on the play sheet correctly.
You know what's funny is that you know what's funny like it's like every time I see Steven spell something like Mel's a big she's a big grammar nut, so she's like does he not know that it's spelled this way? I'm like no.
Lord.
Have you ever heard how he pronounces bushes? Like, there's a video he made of a local chicken place in Houston called Bush's Chicken, and he pronounces it bushels chicken. Bushels. Like, if you're in the Houston area, go to Bushels Chicken.
Man. But yeah, I know the thing about Stephen Rose is that like the great thing about Stephen Rose is whenever he does the trolling thing, you can always usually spot his little troll account because it's the same thing. I told Steve, I'm like, Steve, man, maybe you ought to copy and paste because that would be the solution to it. But I could always usually pick out his whenever he's trolling me.
So
well, guys, I got to roll. You guys, I'm at work, about to shut the shop down. So, you guys have a good night, man. Hey, have a blast on this this playoff weekend. It's going to be a really good one. It's going to be a lot of good football played. Good luck to all your teams, unless you're a Niners fan, which there's none in here. So,
yeah,
you're a Chiefs fan.
We're overrepresenting the room.
Hey, my two favorite teams are playing this week. The Dallas Cowboys are in, and whoever's playing the Chiefs. So, good luck to them. It's the Great Two Fathers, and I'm out.
Y'all are gerrymandering the room anyways.
You can't spell gerrymandering without Jerry.
Yeah, but it starts with a G. That word starts with a G, not a J.
Well, yeah, but it still sounds the same. It's a homophone. What's that word?
Homophone.
That's the one, yeah.
Well, also, I'm going to jump off here too, guys, because there's a Raiders fan who has a live right now, and I got to go see what this dude's talking.
Go get him, man.
Oh, boy. Go get him.
Go represent.
You already know. I'll see you all.
Well, I was going to ask you guys. I was going to ask them, but I'll ask you. I will start with you, Nick. What do you think the Packers need? What's the one weakness on that Packers team right now?
I definitely think that we need more stability on the O-line, especially at right guard. We got a rookie playing there right now, Royce Newman, and he just really hasn't played all that well. Missing Elton Jenkins for the year really sucks, I got to say. But I think we're getting healthy at the right time right now. We're getting Zadarius Smith back. We're getting Jair Alexander back. We're getting our rookie center and Josh Myers back. And we already got David Bakhtiari back, who I think is, I'll say, top 3 at least left tackle in the NFL. So I think we're getting everybody healthy at the right time. But in terms of what I think we need, obviously we got to get another receiver next to Devontae, even if we're able to re-sign him after this year. But I also think that tight end is kind of a need as well. But I don't see any tight ends in the draft that are really worth taking in the first. I will say that we might be losing both of the Smith brothers at outside linebacker as well after this year. So edge rush is definitely something we might need to prioritize in the offseason.
So, Bronco Hill, what do you think the Cowboys' weakness is?
Well, see, last year you would have asked me this. I would have said, well, it's definitely defense. Solidified that. We get Micah Parsons. We got I can't pronounce his last name, Ogazuwe. We got Olsen. Yeah. And we solidified that problem, and this made our secondary look pretty good. So I think that what Dallas needs to do is they need to run the ball a little bit more. They need to get Zeke, and they need to keep Pollard, and they need to keep Clements, and these guys are really in there and in the game. And just it's all about ball control because it's it's the same thing that I've said last year because everybody was like, well, we need Dak to throw for 6,000 yards, and that's not a win. I don't believe that just strictly passing the ball. You need to be dimensional. You need to have these dimensionals. That's why your team is pretty good because they established a running game and then they can play off the run. And that's what we've done effectively to win football games is we've always played off the run. And if you go back and look at the games that we've won and won convincingly, they've established a running game and they've been able to control the clock, which makes the defense better. And like I said, that's the one thing that scares me because Mike McCarthy likes to stray away from that running game that's got us where we're at right now.
Trust me, I know.
So yeah, it's if we need to go ahead and have a consistent running game, let that defense do what it does, give it some time to rest, and we'll be able to go a long ways if they stick with that formula.
The two biggest weaknesses, the two biggest weakness on the Titans right now is they have a very young secondary. I mean, Fulton's a really good corner. I mean, we have Byard and Hooker. Hooker's done a really good job as strong safety, and Byard's he's resurrected his after a lackluster thing last year. Harold Landry is a free agent.
He made All-Pro this year.
Harold Landry is a free agent. He should definitely be re-signed. I like to thank Stephen Rose and your Houston Texans for getting rid of Cunningham, and he came here, and he's making a difference. So I appreciate that, Stephen.
That was the dumbest move ever.
And I will say this, though. We need a new tight end. I think that the Titans, when they got rid of Jonnu Smith and he went to the Patriots, they didn't address the tight end situation, but every quarterback needs that tight end. And I mean, yes, you got AJ Brown and you got Julio, but I feel like that the tight end situation needs to be addressed in the free agency next year. But as far as the Titans go, I feel like that their problem with the secondary is that their secondary, their corners have too much space in between them and a receiver. And I think like that's the reason why sometimes they get burned the way they do. And if you're going up against a team like Cincinnati or like Kansas City, I mean, yes, we did beat Kansas City in the regular season, but this is not the regular season, this is the playoffs. So we're gonna have to do a lot better with that. But I feel like we need to address the tight end situation. We're gonna lose some middle linebackers. I don't think we're gonna keep Brown and Evans. I think that they'll probably walk. And we need to get a legit backup for Tannehill. And that's something that I feel like we really need.
So here's a neat idea. Let's talk about what we believe each other's teams need.
Ooh.
Like from an outsider's point of view.
Okay, I'll go with the Packers first. There's this really good tight end coming out of Texas A&M, and like,
Weidermeyer.
Yeah. I think that because everybody's like, they need to go wide receiver. But you get best of both worlds at tight end. So why not get that over the deep, that middle threat right there, that safety blanket for Aaron Rodgers? You can double up. He's on the line. He's a tight end. I think Green Bay, if they would have gotten that tight end that came out this year, that freaking Atlanta jumped on, I think that that Green Bay would be a scary team. I don't think that they're as scary to me in the playoffs if we come across Green Bay. I'm not afraid of Green Bay, but I think that if they had that pass catching, that big target over the middle, that safety blanket, then that would be frightening to me.
It's a shame that Robert Tonyan had to get hurt so early. Tonyan was pretty damn good last year. If I had to guess for the Cowboys, don't get me wrong, their safety well, their defense is definitely improved, but I think what they could use an upgrade at is at safety. And there are a couple of pretty good safeties that you can get like late first round, early second. There's Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State, and then there's also Daxton Hill out of Michigan. And I really think that that would be like the final touches on that defense.
If I had to go, let me go with I'm gonna go with Green Bay here. The first thing Green Bay needs to do is they need to work out the situation with Aaron Rodgers. That's the first.
If I may interrupt, Rodgers has already like had a press conference saying he's not considering other teams. It's either he's going to come back to the Packers next year or he's going to retire.
Right. I think you need to fix that situation because Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, has another good 2 or 3 years left in him, and maybe more than that. So you need to address that situation. The second thing you need to do is get another receiver that can be just as good or close to Adams. Another thing you need to get is, as Nick Fargo was saying, you're going to lose one or both the Smiths brothers. If you can keep one, that'd be great. But if you lose them both, you need to fix the pass rushing. And I think.
Although I will say Rashawn Gary has come on quite a bit. He had 10 sacks this year.
I do think y'all need to fix y'all's offensive line situation. You need to have more depth there.
I'll say this for I'll say this for the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, of course, secondary is a need for you for your guys because you've already went over that and established that well in this video. But I tell you, if you get a chance in the second round, I think that Malik Jefferson, the quarterback from Liberty, would be a pretty good fit as a backup and to be groomed behind Tannehill because I just think he would fit in that offense with Derrick Henry and the Brown receiver that you got, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. I think that with a quarterback like Malik Jefferson, I think that would put –
Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik Willis, I'm sorry, yeah. I think that if y'all could get him in the second round, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't pick any of these quarterbacks in the first round myself. Maybe
Kenny Pickett.
That would be it. But I don't know about Matt Corral being a first round quarterback. Sam Howell,
especially after that injury.
Yeah, I would be reluctant to get Malik Willis in the first round. But if you could land him in the second round and put him behind a quarterback and let him be groomed, then I think that his best fit would be for Tennessee.
I think with the Cowboys. Go ahead, Fargo.
Is it cutting out again?
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. If I had to choose for Tennessee, I think that linebacker is definitely a need. And there's a couple of good linebackers in the draft this year. Obviously, we got national champion Nakobe Dean from the Georgia Bulldogs. He's pretty good. And then you got Devin Lloyd from Utah, who's also pretty solid and I think would fit a 3-4 defense very well, which I believe the Titans run.
Yes.
So I think that Devin Lloyd would be a good bet for Tennessee.
Yeah. Do y'all see any other weaknesses or just that?
Tight end, now that you brought it up, was definitely something that should be addressed because I forgot about losing Jonnu Smith. But I think linebacker and tight end are what I can think of. Maybe wide receiver in case Julio Jones doesn't get back to 100%.
Now, for the Cowboys,
that's all I can think of.
I say for the Cowboys, they definitely need to fix their safeties. That's the one thing I see the most with Dallas. And if Dallas can get if Dallas can get another pass rusher and maybe like a solid backup for Dax, I think that Dallas should be all right.
I'll tell you this. I think that we also need a backup for Tyron Smith because he's always hurt.
True.
I wonder if Antonio Brown is making a rap album with that tackle that the Titans got rid of. Forgot his name now.
Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, I wonder if they're making
Isaiah
a rap album.
Wilson.
Yeah, Isaiah
That's
Wilson.
one of the biggest draft busts I can think of. I didn't even have a first round grade on him. I don't even think I had like a second grade on him.
I have to talk to Fargo about this. Now, I know that you guys finished 13-3, and I know Matt LaFleur did a really good job. And I know he's probably going to win Coach of the Year. But I look at what Tennessee's done with 95 players throughout the season and all the injuries they've had to deal with, and the way Mike Vrabel runs that ship there, and the fact that they won their division twice now with Derrick Henry gone for 10 weeks. Mike Vrabel should be up there in that discussion with Matt LaFleur.
I agree. Vrabes has had a good year this year. I mean, I've always thought that he's a really good coach. So I definitely think he deserves to be in the discussion. But all of I get it. It helps that Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback. I get it. However, at the same time, look at, like, we didn't have David Bakhtiari, our left tackle, for most of this year. Like, last week was his first game back in action. And we played really well on the offensive line despite that. Like, yeah, Royce Newman gave up a few sacks, but, like, our backup left tackle was, well, Elton Jenkins, but then Josh Nijman came in, and he established himself as possibly someone that could start on other teams. And I think that just shows, like, how good at facing adversity this guy is, especially, like, with the whole Aaron Rodgers offseason drama. Like, LaFleur kept it cool the whole time. And also, like, Tunyon going out for the year with an ACL, and then adjusting to that by having Josiah DeGuara play well, and also Mercedes Lewis, who even I'm surprised that he can still play at, like, nearly 40 years old at tight end. Right. But yeah, he's still pretty solid, I think. And just the way that he's how he's handled all the adversity really shows his guts as a leader, in my opinion. So while I agree that Braves has also faced adversity as well, I just look at all of the injuries that Green Bay has had to deal with as well. And it's just, again, it does help that Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback. I'm not going to deny that. But also at the same time, Aaron Rodgers, before LaFleur came in, he was only like one game above 500 the past 2 years.
You know, what's interesting, though, another reason why I think that Matt LaFleur will get it is all that off-season drama y'all had to deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. I was alluding to that.
I think that's one of the biggest things. You didn't know whether or not Aaron Rodgers was going to be what was going to happen with him. I forgot. I'm going to ask Poston this because I know he's an outsider with the Packers. But did you agree with the front office, or do you agree with Aaron Rodgers in this fight?
I believe that, first off, I want to say that I believe that David Culley will win because he got the second best quarterback in this draft. But with that being,
even though he got fired,
yeah. Well, hey, it's not his fault. He was going to ride that Titanic all the way down like a good captain, but he couldn't help it. But yeah, definitely, I would probably. I mean, it's hard to side with Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? I would probably have to side more with the front office, even though, yeah, I get it. they had so many needs, and I get why they got a secondary player because their defense that defense. This is one thing that Tom Brady understands is that the defense in a running game, they'll carry you a long ways in the playoffs. So like with the wide receiver and stuff, man, you look at like Michael Thomas, you look at like a Chase Claypool, he fell into the third round. DK Metcalf fell in the second round. And these are guys that Green Bay could have gotten. But you can get wide receivers later in the draft. I think that they understand that. But, for the most part, I usually skip a lot of this drama because they over-embellish stuff. The relationship with Aaron Rodgers in the front office probably wasn't as bad as you hear on the media because they're just trying to sell a story. I can guarantee.
Slow news day.
Yeah. I can guarantee you they didn't have anything else, so they had to create this drama. If Aaron Rodgers wanted to leave Green Bay, he would be out of Green Bay. He would be playing for any other team because, as much as I don't like Aaron Rodgers, he's a marketable player. So if he wanted to play for San Francisco, he could go to San Francisco. He could go to Denver. So I just think that a lot of this is probably blown out of proportion. And so people like Michael Rappaport or freaking Stephen A. Smith.
Ian Rapsheet.
Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah. Oh, dude, since I don't watch sports as much as I used to, and I don't watch ESPN as much as I used to because it's hot trash, I don't know hardly any of them anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but Schefter, like the fact that he dropped that big story about like Aaron Rodgers wants to leave on draft night was like the dumbest shit ever. Like here we are, these kids are about to have like the biggest night of their lives. They're getting drafted to an NFL team. And then Schefter's just like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers wants to play with the Packers." In that draft for what he said.
I think you kind of broke up for a lot of that.
Oh, hold on.
But I understood why they took Jordan
How
Love.
am I now?
Yeah, I use it now.
Okay, so I think Schefter needs to make an official apology to every single first rounder in this year's draft because he dropped that quote unquote news on draft night, and no one's gonna focus on like the NFL draft on a night where apparently Aaron Rodgers wants to leave the Green Bay Packers. Like this is the biggest night of their lives. Yeah, this is the biggest night of their lives. These draft prospects. And Adam Schefter just drops this news on draft night. He should apologize personally to like every single first rounder, in my opinion. Yes, that might be a little dramatic, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, Fargo, the one thing that bothered me was I watched the show on YouTube, but I like the Pat McAfee show. And Aaron Rodgers went on there, and some rumor came out that saying that the Packers got to the Super Bowl, that he would sit out during the Super Bowl. I'm like, this is Aaron fucking Rodgers. I don't see him sitting out for the Super Bowl.
And also, that was the dumbest narrative ever, too, because why would Aaron Rodgers play on a broken pinky toe if he was just going to boycott the Super Bowl if they made it?
I mean, it's these, and this is just another reason why I don't watch the NFL like I used to. Back in the days, I would know, pretty much everything from before the season started but I don't follow it that much anymore. And a lot of it is kind of drifting more for the soy latte drinking, dynasty Falcon Crest watching soy boys that now have developed the NFL into some kind of soap opera. It's becoming more and more toxic. And that's why, even my Cowboys and stuff, it's kind of hard to watch because they're not focused. They're focusing on other stuff. They're focusing on off the field BS and a lot of it just looks synthetic as hell. And you break it down. You got the Aaron Rodgers COVID test. That was one of the storylines going out. Then you've got like I said, Deshaun Watson and his sexual assaults. And if somebody's always hitting their girlfriends or assaulting some female or their DWI or, it's always something. It's always a mess. It's always just garbage. And this is not why NFL fans watch the game. We want to come on here like we did today, talk about the teams, talk about the organizations, hear what, we need, see what our chances are making a Super Bowl, winning a title. You don't really have to add any of this drama stuff. But like I said, whenever people are tired of watching ESPN because all they do is race bait, put out propaganda stories, or create these stupid narratives to try and get people sucked into watching them, that makes us want to watch you less.
I have to say, Nick said something about the apologies. Antonio Brown, you owe an apology to Tom Brady. And that is clear as day. You owe that man an apology because you wouldn't have a job in the NFL if it wasn't for Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Like, dude, you weren't people were blackballing you until you took him in, and like Bruce Arians even said to him when they signed him last year, one screw up, Antonio Brown, and you're gone. They gave him another chance when he faked his Vax card, which was verified. And I get it. Everyone has their opinions on the vaccine. I get it. But the rules are the rules. And if you're just outwardly lying about a Vax card,
I'll be honest. I think that this is part of the shit reason why I don't watch football. Because first off, no one cares about the Vax card. Second off, I'm pretty sure that this is a big charade for the NFL. It's a publicity stunt. So I meant, they're going to have a war of words. It's all about Twitter. I have no interest in it, to be honest with you. Antonio Brown's going to do his little thing on Twitter. Tom Brady's going to do his thing on Twitter, whatever it is. But I meant this adds no substance to the game. This takes away from substance to the game. This is, like I said, one of those little kayfabe things that they implement in here. And this is, like I said, I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised that he took off the shirt, did some jumping jacks on the field. I mean, they have the black cats running out on the field during the New York games. Anything that they can do to get some sort of publicity. And to be honest with you, they lost a lot of audience. And there's people I know that probably never watched the NFL again simply because of the Colin Kaepernick, the black national anthem, all the ridiculous crap that they're trying to introduce into a sport to try and accumulate more interest into the sport that was already there. Instead of accumulating more interest, you're running away more interest with this. So guys like me who used to religiously watch the NFL for the sport that it is, and it was an escape, for me to go ahead and have my little thing that I can escape in and get away from the outside of your ridiculous mandates and your plot device placebo crap that you put on the mainstream media. That was supposed to be mine, just like the professional wrestling. But since you implement this stuff inside these products so much, it is a turnoff. And I would just rather watch old games. I'd rather watch old games of the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys before I watch an NFL game today. And, whenever things were better. And I know that people consider this the new normal, and people are unfortunately accepting it at the cost of a majority of their fellow citizens and stuff. But to me, it's just okay, I'm just not as interested as I was anymore, and that's part of the reason why.
I think another guy that owes an apology, Stephen A. Smith. I'm talking to you, you motherfucker. The reason why I'm saying you owe an apology because he was all on the Titans bandwagon earlier in the season, and then when Derrick Henry went out, he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, their season's over. Their season's over." And then when he comes back, he's like, "Titans are going to go to the Super Bowl now." I'm like, you know what, Stephen A. Smith? No one gives a fuck about what you have to say.
Does people still watch Stephen A. Smith? I feel bad for you if you do.
Well, I don't like Skip Bayless either, but that's
Yeah, I don't like Skip Bayless at all.
I don't watch any of them. I have not, even Shannon Sharp, any of them. I just skip them because it's always going to be the same thing. They're going to talk less about the sport and more about, whatever kind of weird stuff that they're talking about. So I have no idea what they're saying really at any given time.
I'm just looking forward to a really good NFL football weekend because the NFC looks really good and it looks really wide open, and I'm looking forward to seeing that old nostalgic 49er Cowboys game and looking forward to seeing what's going to happen because this is one of the times, even in the AFC, where I don't even know who's going to go. And this is some people can say what they want about Kansas City. I know Duke hates Kansas City, but Kansas City has went to the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and they are the AFC champs. So, I mean, they got a lot of. I mean, like they might be hurting. They may have had some stuff in the NFC, in the season, but as A-Train said earlier, you win, you lose. You lose, you're out, and they got a lot of playoff experience behind them, and that's one reason why about the Chiefs I'm a little worried about in that particular part because yes, the Titans got home field advantage, which is good, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be hard to say, but I do think if the Titans get to the Super Bowl, I think any team that gets there with them, their focus will be on Derrick Henry. And this
of course.
And this is one of the times, and Titan fans get mad at me for saying this, but the last 2 times we went to the playoffs, Tannehill hasn't shown up. And that's the reason why Kansas City beat us in the AFC Championship 2 years ago, because they stuffed the run, they were stuffing Derrick Henry, and Tannehill wasn't doing anything about it. Now, Tannehill can have a good season all he wants, but what I want to see is if the Super Bowl, if that happens, say, for example, we face Green Bay or we face Dallas, and you guys are holding Derrick Henry to like 50 yards or something to that nature.
Which we kind of did in the game that we played last year. I don't know. We held him under 100. I know that.
Right. So what I want to see from that is I want to see if Tannehill or wherever they call him now, I want to see whether or not he can step up and do what he needs to do. Now, I know that some Titan fans on Facebook I follow are like, hey, Tannehill had to fight adversity this year because he didn't have Derrick Henry for 10 weeks and A.J. Brown was hurt and Julio was hurt. And I get it. I do. But in order for the Titans to get to the Super Bowl, that's one thing. But in order for them to win, I need to see Tannehill actually become that leader that they ever claim that he is. And I am still not sold on Tannehill.
Well, see, that's my thing right there. And this is my particular gripe about Green Bay is that, like I said, and I'm an old school guy. So I'm an old school football guy. And running the ball is good, but you need defense too. And so, and that's why I said I was going to be crucified last year by the Dallas Cowboys fan. Why? Because Dak was throwing, he would throw for 42 of 48 passes and complete for 450 yards. But if you go back and you look at our season last year, we were actually, I think, 1-5 with Dak, and then Dak gets injured. They bring in Andy Dalton, and we win a few more games, and we were actually competing because that's how bad our division was. But whenever you're so much pass happy, and your offense, that's why, like I said, whenever McCarthy likes to toy around with, he wants to go pass berserk, and I said this isn't a winning formula. You need that running.
Oh, that old McCarthy 5 wide. I remember that well.
Yes, and I'm telling you, that's one of the problems I think that's Green Bay has had over the years, but it's the same problem that New Orleans Saints has had. And the reason why Brady has won so many Super Bowls is because they've had a good running game and they've had a good defense. And Brady has just really, at the end of the day, just kind of played off the run with short passes, intermediate passes being until he can go ahead and get his plays. And like Aaron Rodgers is a downfield passer. You know what I'm saying? Get that ball out.
He's been better with the short and intermediate throws. LaFleur runs like the Shanahan type system, like a lot of West Coast concepts. Like it's not like the McCarthy like split out 5 wide. We actually use our running backs now. We do a lot of motion in the backfield as well. It's just night and day.
I still Bay is kind of like the New Orleans of the North, you know? And I feel back to like Drew Brees, but Drew Brees suffers from that problem too.
Yeah, but we also have a pretty solid 1-2 punch in Green Bay at running back now with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. There have been games where we solely relied, not solely, but like there was a good balance of run and pass as well.
Hey, Kev, I'm going to have to drop out, man. My phone's about to.
Okay, that's cool.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later, dude.
Later. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I have to say, though, is I actually really do like A.J. Dillon. And I think that.
Oh, yeah.
No, you guys got something there with him.
I was against the pick at first because I was just like, we already have Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. Why do we need a third running back? I was like, well, A.J. Dillon's a lot better than Jamal Williams at least. So I'll take that.
I'm surprised the Titans made Deontay Foreman actually pretty good. I mean, the one thing I liked about what Vrabel did was even if Derrick Henry wasn't there, they still stayed with their identity, and they didn't shy away from it.
Am I the only person that wasn't surprised that Adrian Peterson didn't work out with the Titans?
I knew he wasn't going to work out. I mean, I know some people.
The dude is like 80. The dude is like 80 years old.
You know, I was glad he got that touchdown, but I knew he wasn't going to work out. And the reason why I knew he wasn't going to work out was because then he started saying, "Oh, well, the Titans' offense fits good for me." Then he went to Seattle and he's like, "Well, their offense didn't fit in with me." I'm like, "No, it's because you suck now."
You're 85 years old.
That's the reason why it didn't work out.
Like running back isn't quarterback. Like your legs give out eventually.
But I mean, that's one thing that I will say about us is I think that I've been telling Mel, and my father-in-law is a Packer fan because he's from Wisconsin, so I keep telling them all the time. I'm like, I believe it's going to be the Titans and Packers, and they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, I said, unless it's not the Titans, I see Kansas City maybe, but I don't see Buffalo going there, and I don't see Cincinnati going.
Yeah, Cincinnati, I think they're due for a bright future at least.
Yeah.
But because like Burrow's I loved Burrow coming out of the draft. Like I said that he's got a mental processor like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And he's got like the top half is Tom Brady. The lower half is Aaron Rodgers. Like he can still make plays with his legs a little bit, and he's good in the pocket as well. He can throw on the run. He doesn't have the arm strength of Aaron Rodgers, but he's accurate like Tom Brady. I think Burrow is like a good mixture of those two. As steep of praise as that is.
I really don't think, even if you guys lose Aaron Rodgers next year, I really don't see anybody in y'all's division beating the Packers next year.
We'll have to see Jordan Love, how he can handle stepping into Rodgers' shoes full time. But I really do think that Rodgers has said that conversations with our front office have been a lot better lately. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to work something out after this season.
I had to block somebody on here earlier because I didn't show the comments, but there was a guy on here called Nazi Holocaust Genocide Hitler Nazi tried to say some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm blocking that.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like, yeah, you're blocked, dude. Whoever you are.
Jesus Christ.
Like, sorry for you, but I don't need no Hitlers in here, man.
Right. This ain't a Jamal Seaton stream.
Oh my god.
Did you hear about that? How he had like Nazi logos and stuff in his stream?
Ogden told me about it, but I didn't hear the full story.
Yeah, basically, like, he got like a whole bunch of. They were obviously trolls, but like there have been like a few new people in his stream, like this Canadian dude named Boxman Sean, and this one guy that lives in Ohio named Joe Walsh, and he gives like the Heil Hitler salute all the time on camera, and JP just allows that in his stream. It's crazy.
What in the actual? Then again, it says Jamal Seaton, so
Yeah, the guy shows his ass on camera, so
in front of men.
yeah, and he like allows these two people that I just mentioned to like just freely say the N-word with a hard R at the end. Just like, oh my god, dude. Crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I stay away from that kind of stuff now.
Yeah. And then like these people that also came in like had profile pictures that had like swastikas on it and shit. I'm just like, why aren't you kicking these guys out, man? Like, dude is a character, to say the very least.
Looks like it.
He kept saying, oh, the Saints are going to pull a miracle and make the playoffs. We're going to do it. I was like, with who at quarterback? Taysom Hill? Like, stop it.
I don't know if the Hitler guy started talking when Paulson was starting to get into the whole political part. I think that's when he started talking. So I don't know if that was a thing against Paulson or that was a thing. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, I'm not showing that on her.
I mean, fair enough.
I mean, I know that Mel is half German, but I'm not going to show that.
Pretty sure anybody that's German and a good person likes to have that erased from their history.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, I saw that one video with Jamal Seaton where he was letting them say the N-word with the hard R, and I'm sitting there like, Jamal, man, come on.
Like, JP, like, I don't know. Well, anyways, it's getting late. I gotta get ready for my girlfriend to come over tomorrow, so I'll catch you later. This was fun, man.
All right, no problem. And I'm actually going to message you guys later because me and Mel have an idea for Madden 22, and I'll tell a little bit about it here. But let's just say that it's going to be fun troll job because all of us are not going to be playing on the teams that we like.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm not going to say who's going on who though.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you later, man.
Later, man.
Well, before I end this myself, I'm just going to say I'm going to thank A-Train. I want to thank the Prodigal Hill. I want to thank Duke Botters. I want to thank Nick Fargo for coming in here and, dissecting the NFL playoffs and all that fun jazz. Got coming up here. If y'all like the Golden Era thing that me and Xavier Michaels did this Tuesday or sometime this week, we're going to do the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. Xavier Michaels will be joining me, but this time we're going to have Matt, the Empire Jones from the wrestling show. He's going to be joining me in that panel as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And we got to get to interview Mel, my beautiful wife. So I get to do that as well. And every team in the NFL this season in the playoffs, good luck this weekend. There's going to be some really good games. And let me run. I'm gonna run through my picks because some of the guys were giving their picks. So I believe that it's going to be hard for the Eagles to beat Tim Brady, whatever you want to call him, in Tampa. And so I think the Bucs are going to beat the Eagles. As far as the 49ers in Dallas, that's like an old rivalry being renewed. If you ever watched football in the 90s, you know about the 49er Packer feuds back then. I mean, Cowboys feud. I still think Dallas is going to win this one. The Rams and Cardinals is going to be that's a toss up, but I still think the Rams are going to do it. I still think Buffalo is going to win their game against the Patriots. I think Cincinnati is going to beat the Raiders, and yeah, and that's pretty much. Oh yeah, and I think that Pittsburgh may have a chance because A-Train was on to something. This is Ben Roethlisberger's last year. His last hurrah, he made. You know how the referees will be. They may do that for Ben Roethlisberger, but I'd like to thank Andre Colbill for a nice little comment there in the section. Good looking out there. If you never seen Andre Colbill, go to Weed and Wrestling. Andre Colbill, he does a lot of great things with wrestling and pro wrestling, especially Canadian wrestling. Also, go see my friends, the Wrestling Show. They got really good content on their channel, so go there as well. And like, share, sub. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Who you guys are picking for the Super Bowl. I gave my picks. Duke gave his. A-Train gave his. Poston gave his, and Nick Fargo gave his. I was going to do this with Ogden, with Matt Ogden, but he was wanting to do it around 11, and I just don't know if I was able to do it at that time because I am going to have to go to sleep here soon. But anyways, it's been real. It's been fun, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Big Kev from Big Kev's World, and I'm out.